Hey YouTube, this is Southern Prepper 1 and welcome to Boots on the Ground. If you could add anything to the conversation, Southern Prepper 1, just the number 1 at yahoo.com, you can send it there. Let's get right into it. This person sent me this. I just found out today in Washington County, Nebraska, the powers that be want to pass a law regarding homesteads that you cannot have animals or sell your product. The community and I guess the government officials are meeting this week again, and the vote will be very soon. No idea what this is going to entail, if this is a local thing just for Washington County, Nebraska. But let's see if anyone can look into it and get back to see if they're, are they not letting you have chickens in the county line and the city line? I don't know. But we need to investigate that and let our voices be heard if you live in Nebraska. I work for a medium to large commercial HVAC company near Cleveland, Ohio. Construction materials have been getting more and more expensive. I will put in, though, wood is coming way down, and people are demanding more and more money to stay afloat. After working on Friday, the calls went out. We got rid of all temps. And for the first time since the company was founded, we had a round of layoffs. A third of the company is laid off until at least April, and I have a bad feeling it's going to get worse. Anything in the heating and air business is hard to find, and all their supplies are definitely going up, where carpenter wood is going down. More substitutions for eggs, bananas, applesauce. I will list those, give the how much cup to egg ratio. I'll put that in the description. This person wrote food stamps decreasing. They said she's kind of accurate. A lot of states already ended this program. Everyone on SNAP is hungry in Minnesota, and many are using charge cards to buy food. Food shelves are becoming more empty. Yes, I work with these families. The best help to give is to teach the young people to cook from scratch. So this is someone that definitely sounds like they work in the social programs or the health department. And she's saying people are going hungry, and it's probably because of the high cost of everything. But teaching young people to cook from scratch, that should be a requirement in high school. Granted, parents should teach that, but if parents aren't doing their job, it would be great for people when they leave high school to know how to make a loaf of bread, and have actually made loaves of bread from scratch. That is a life skill that everyone should know. Last night on my way home from work, I needed gas. I stopped at a QT gas station. As I was going to pay, I saw a sign on the door advertising for job openings. It was for security guard. The pay was pretty good, $35 per hour. That's more than they pay their managers. Never before have I seen QT hiring security guards. One more sign of the times. I work on steel equipment, and I'm in Florida. Please let everyone know that they need to get parts. They need to get them now for their chainsaws, weed eaters, whatever they have, blowers. We're having a hard time getting parts for small engines, especially steel. We live in Johnson City, Tennessee. We have followed your channel for a while now. Yesterday we had a power outage because of the thunderstorms with strong winds. The power went off from 3 p.m. and it came back on the next morning. We purchased an 1800 watt power station, and that's more like the solar power generators. We were so glad we had it. We have a 10,000 watt generator for emergency needs, but we did not have to use it. The solar generator supplied all the power we need to run our refrigerator and a few LED lights. This is, someone sent me a picture, a restaurant company hiring for janitors at $16 to $18 an hour. This guy said, nothing wrong with being a janitor, but I've never heard of one being hired for more than I've ever made in 20 years of hard work I did in the lumber warehouse. Is it because they can't find workers? Yes, the hourly rate's going to be dictated by who wants to work. They will raise that rate up until they can find the workers that they need, and if they want to get quality workers, you're going to have to pay more. I'm in Missouri, went to Walmart today, and 2 packs of 18 large eggs, so it was 36 eggs, were $10.70 plus tax. I am diabetic and depend heavily on eggs. All right, this is from Wadsworth, Ohio. I raise chicks to sell as pullets. I make a little extra, which covers our feed costs for our flock. This last weekend, I went to Relocating to get a new batch of chicks. I got a few different breeds. I was surprised at how small they were. I don't think much of it. I took them home, but by the time I got home into the chicken nursery with the heat lamp and food, one was dead. Over the next 5 days, 5 more died. They just weren't thriving despite everything I was doing with electrolytes. I went and bought premium food thinking that maybe it was a supply chain issue in the feed. They were missing nutrients. Nothing helped. More dead chicks. Had a friend come over this evening who is a chicken expert farmer. He told me that the chicks are far too small. He said they're runts or the cold birds, meaning they should have been cold because of being underweight. He thinks that with the chickens being in such a high demand that hatcheries are selling all their chicks to the feed store and making extra dollars off chicks that should never be sold. He said by looking at them that they wouldn't make it. He said they should have never left the hatchery. This has been heartbreaking to watch, so please check your chicks before you buy them. I'm also getting reports that small chicks are $5 a piece, $6 a piece at certain places. So yes, you're going to be paying a lot more for baby chicks this year. I live in Pennsylvania and I get organic eggs from the local Amish family that has an egg business. Been getting eggs for the Amish farm all my life. They're easy to spot. Just take a drive around Amish country and stop at the chicken house and they will gladly sell you their eggs. I get 2 dozen jumbo eggs for $3 for 2 dozen. That's unheard of. I don't know how they're making money. Can also get seconds for 75 cents a dozen. Can't beat their price and jumbos. I usually have double yolks. Sometimes the Amish will sell excess vegetables that they have on hand from their garden as well. It sure does pay to get to know the local farmers. That egg price is unbelievable. I don't know if it's going to stay that cheap. I don't do a lot of cooking, but I was in the store today and took a quick picture of the egg section. The cost of a dozen eggs are about $2.15. No shortage here. I wish they would have included the state. Please, please, please include the state at least minimum when you send in reports. If you don't want to give your small little town, just put near a big town so we all can understand where it is. Eggs in Southern California are almost $8 a dozen if you can find them. This person said, I wonder how this is affecting restaurants and bakeries. Very hard for restaurants and bakeries, especially bakeries. They use a lot of eggs. This is from Canada, Southern Ontario. Their eggs were on sale for $5.39 for 18 pack. So you can find them, and you can find them on sale. It just depends where you are. Some places they're really high, and some places they're not on the normal price. They're still higher, but they're not outrageous. Last week I decided I needed to go to the hospital for 2 procedures. They had the needed dye for the CAT scan, and they had the drugs to put me to sleep for the operation. The doctor and the staffs were friendly, and no one seemed stressed out. We moved from California to Kentucky 4 years ago, and so glad we did. Haven't seen road rage. People still smile. We feel like we live in an oasis away from the maddening crowds. I talked to a lot of people from California, and they are stressed to the max. You can hear it in their voice. They live in an environment that I call it just controlled chaos. So people that have moved from California to other parts of the country, definitely, I think it's good for their health. I think they're going to have less stress and live longer. This is from the Netherlands. The Dutch government voted in December to build 2 nuclear power plants. This comes at a time where today it was announced by one of the biggest grid operators that 2030 there will be a power shortage. They're talking about using international connections to make up for the demand when there's low solar power and wind power. They also said inflation is extreme. It's about 30% on basic items. They did say, though, gas prices have dropped, so that's good. This is also some good news. Sweden just announced they found a large deposit of a rare earth mineral in Europe. They didn't say what mineral, but they said it's used in electric cars. They hope this will reduce our dependence on China, but it will take 10 to 15 years before they can start mining due to rules and regulations. This person sent me one in the past, but the older message was that they filled up their heating oil at $6.25 a gallon. A year ago, it was $4.03. And that was sent to me in November. But just an update, they just filled up their oil again. Oil delivered today, and the price actually dropped to $5.87. So from $6.25 down to $5.87. Still high, but that is great news. Still, it cost them $1,075. We used to heat for the whole year for about $1,600. I would love to know how much they had to spend this year when the winter is over. They're thinking, well, the heating system so far, they've had to spend $2,000, and it's not done. They're going to need another delivery in March or April timeframe. Hopefully, our Social Security increase for 2023 will offset this. And this is in Maryland. So yeah, they're going to spend a lot of money on heating their homes. This is from a correctional officer, female. She sent me ones before, just how dire the situation was. But this one is even worse. She did say they're hiring. Starting pay is $42,000 a year. They said the penal system is 100% failing and no one is speaking up. I'm a female officer. I'm over 50 years old. Last night, our shift barely had enough officers to cover just the main posts. We had no rovers, and if we needed to respond to a fight or a medical emergency, we were instructed to lock down our house and respond to the problem. Previously, locking down the house and meant all doors are locked, and there's one officer on post in the control booth with approximately 20 lockdown inmates. No doors are open, period, until another blue suit is on post. So last night around midnight, we, of course, had a medical emergency. 2 officers were removed from 2 of the main posts in order to take the inmate to the hospital. The rest of the night, I was on the floor by myself. No officer in the control booth. So I guess the person in the control booth can watch the officer on the floor. Just me. I was required to utilize the house emergency keys to open the barracks doors because no one was available to cycle the door from the control post. Until last night, it was 100% against the policy to do this. It was a terminational offense if you just have, I guess, someone backing you up, at least in the control booth, to watch you. I was required to enter an all-male barracks. It houses approximately 50 inmates. There are mostly child molesters and rapists, by the way. This was done in order to keep accountability, ensure the safety of all inmates, and to count each individual inmate. I did this by myself and not one officer backing me up, not even via camera watching my back. Then I was required to run the pill and chow call. This is a mass movement event where the inmates leave the house to get medication at the infirmary and to eat at the chow hall. I did that by myself too. At one point, I was on post with approximately 100 unsecured inmates. I don't think I need to explain to you how dire the situation could have become. I won't detail the facts that one of the barracks I was supervising is a mental health barracks. I'm not going to go into how long those last 6 hours of my shift lasted, but I will say this: the Lord had my back. In closing, if any of your listeners need a job, I beg them. We are losing this fight, and these inmates are going to be in our backyard when we do. My hat's off to this lady. I mean, she gets my salute. Doing that job, not having proper backup, incredibly brave. You are definitely in the hero column. Let's move on. With costs going up and budgets getting tighter, being a single dad of 4 teenage sons and I'm worried about. I had made an extra trip to the grocery stores, topped off at $215 I had to spend. The next day in the mail was a check from the state of Massachusetts for $250 that was dispersed from COVID fund that I had no idea was coming. You just have to keep the faith that you will be provided for. So that was great news. This person said, besides the price of utilities and all the products rising, one thing I've noticed is the sheer number of ambulances. I live close to a hospital, and the number of sirens have seemingly risen a huge amount over the last year. The second is the fact that many towns and cities throughout the UK, so this person's in the UK, and hotels have been transformed to house very large numbers of foreign men that have illegally crossed the channel. In the number of cases in the smaller community, the population of these people outnumber the local populace. I think these people are being allowed in and kept here specifically to be used against the locals in the near future. Let's hope I am wrong. This person is in East Oklahoma. I'm a heavy truck technician who works on a lot of school buses. We are on national back order on most parts and putting buses back together with test parts out of our toolboxes and service trucks. Most will have to wait till summer when we get new parts. Pray for our children. We refuse to reuse safety parts, but others might not have the same practice. New buses are not being built till paid for. So, anytime, any part, even semi-drivers could have used parts put on our parts that need to be taken off and replaced because of safety, but they might not be being done. So yes, dangerous on the roads. We started prepping when the toilet paper shortage became a thing. Just a few things as we could, and always making it a point to keep extras of necessary items, including pet food. I've got my older family members to stock up too. Life completely turned upside down when the virus hit. I'm a single mom to a special needs child. I had to start working from home and had to cut down to part-time. My son has been unable to return to school since the shutdown because he has extreme OCD, among other problems. We homeschool now. We started gardening and composting and are actually enjoying life more even though we have less. We order much of our items online, and the highlight of our week is to leave little goodies and snacks for our delivery drivers. There's so much bad going on in the world. There's so much good. You just have to look for it. I'm writing from the Freeport, Lake Jackson area off the Texas coast. Food isn't scarce here, but prices on meat and eggs are getting really high. I sent you a few pictures saying that the meat and eggs from animals that are being killed off because of the bird flu could be technically safe to eat. So why aren't these products made available for us to purchase and use? And they sent information. If you cook the chicken at a high temperature, you could kill the bird flu. So there says, is this shortage on purpose? Really, it's liability. There's no company in the world that's going to sell any meat, any eggs that the government says could be contaminated with bird flu. The liability is too high. It is cheaper for them to destroy it all. Is there a secondary purpose behind all this food being destroyed? I'll let you decide that. So many more to cover, and time is slipping by. This is Northeast Georgia. Over the past couple months, the quality of food has gone down a lot. And it gives examples of bags of rice, black foreign materials in it, bacon bits that were best by date several months out had green mold on it, and on and on and on. So definitely the quality of the food is definitely going down. About a week ago, the emergency SNAP benefits were discontinued. While we can agree that the pandemic of illnesses has diminished, the pandemic of hunger will remain. Mobile food pantries in the local libraries have limited food supplies and barely enough of some items to make it to the end of the distribution. This past week, the only items at the end of the distributions were small cabbages and onions. It makes me think of the poor families of Charlie Bucket in Willy Wonka and Chocolate, who had nothing really to eat except cabbage water to eat for meals. I'm wondering at this point if this will even be available at some point. Yes, I was watching a movie. It was a Civil War movie, not a famous movie. It was a little cheesy, but it showed the starvation during the 1864. It showed the lack of food. It showed that people were hungry all of the time. They could not get enough calories. So, we live in the greatest country in the world. We have the availability to stockpile food. We have the availability to be able to grow food. So keep prepping. Don't look at prepping as doom and gloom. Look at prepping as a way of life. Thanks for watching.